This video is a quick tour of Wupatki and Sunset Crater National Monuments in Arizona. I frequently drive Route 89 north from Flagstaff to access the East Gate to Grand Canyon South Rim or to drive up to the North Rim. Usually I have a busy schedule in the canyon, so I bypass the monuments until this trip. Driving south from the North Rim, I entered Wupatki National Monument, which was established in 1924 and made accessible by the growing use of automobiles. The loop road through Wupatki and Sunset Crater is paved, less traveled, and can be completed in an hour without stops, but of course the stops are what make it interesting. I first stopped at Box Canyon and Lomaki Pueblos. Years ago, I started out as an anthropology major, and most un-excavated Pueblos I saw just looked like mounds of dirt. Most Pueblos you see in parks and monuments have been excavated and reconstructed. So I was impressed that the first two Pueblos note they've only been stabilized but not reconstructed. These Pueblos were occupied about 900 years ago when apparently a major habitation of the entire region occurred. Agriculture was the main food source, and reportedly the contemporaneous eruption of Sunset Crater volcano made farming more productive. The layout of the structures looks a bit like a suburban neighborhood of today. It's a bit surprising that there was a thriving culture in what now seems an extremely isolated and desolate bit of Arizona. But at that time, population centers likely developed based upon food sources, not waterways, railways, and transportation hubs as they have more recently. The interesting thing about the Pueblo is that the Park Service says it stabilized the walls but did not reconstruct them. Most of these sites have been excavated and reconstructed, so this is in unusually good condition. Note the doorway, room for your shoulders, but not so much for your feet. Good enough to close up when you needed to heat it up with a wood fire. These are really a fascinating set of Pueblos. See what we find. These were occupied about 900 years ago. There seems to have been a flourishing population living in the area from Grand Canyon, the rim, North Rim, South Rim, deep in the canyon, all the way here to the mesas outside of Main St. Humphreys and the San Francisco Mountains at Flagstaff. Interesting, well worth a visit. The main Wupatki Pueblo has about 100 rooms, and an estimated 1,000 people lived within a day's walk of it. It has the northernmost ball court of any Pueblo, and also has a blowhole where underground caves breathe in and out as temperature changes from day to night. That feature was not accessible on the day of my visit. Wupatki has been extensively reconstructed and reflects a different conservation ethic. From its establishment in 1924 until a residence was constructed in 1940, the custodians of the park lived in the Pueblo. This is a bit shocking, as modern park management sometimes even prohibits entry into kivas on the request of modern tribes who consider the former residents their ancestors. I'm not educated about this issue, but it strikes me as a bit odd, as modern churches and temples welcome people of all backgrounds, so why should the historic kivas restrict access? But I have no say in this matter. The final custodians to live in the Pueblo itself from 1938 to 1940 took photos of their dwelling, which had running water, appliances, and resembles the modern dwelling unit built for them by the CCC and Park Service. That dwelling currently sits right next to the Mission 66 style visitor center that still operates today. Inexplicably, a large section of the trail was closed on the day I visited the main pueblo, but it was still an impressive structure. Modern theories also allow for the possibility these large pueblos were more than housing, but may have primarily served a religious or cultural function. The large size of the kiva and the existence of the ball court could certainly support this theory. Sunset Crater National Monument is about 20 miles down the road from Wupatki. Unfortunately, the visitor center closed at 4:30 p.m. sharp as we arrived, so we were not able to see the interpretive displays. But the lava sat raw and impressive on the Trail as we walked along as the sun sank in the western sky. Accidentally, but appropriately, we visited Sunset Crater at sunset. The monument loop through Sunset Crater and Wupatki was a pleasant diversion with good roads, minimal crowds, and interesting sights. Although driving time was only an hour, it strikes me that half a day would be an appropriate amount of time to spend walking some of the trails and visiting the sites. To me, it was well worth the visit. I hope you enjoy your visit to Arizona, and thank you for watching.